Toward the beginning of the novel, we read about the dramatic beginning of this Last Great Auk. A day eventually came when the female did not occupy her mate to the ledge to launch herself into the sea in quest for food. Instead, she once again assumed the hunched, languid position she had taken during the early courtship approaches of the males. Her mate continued to fish and eat, occasionally wobbling laboriously upward to the little patch of rock where the female waited, carrying with him a newly captured small crab or regurgitating a half-dozen or more sardines for her. She accepted the few first offerings, but then fell into a deep state of somnolescence, which persisted throughout most of the day. Late that afternoon, she raised her head, opened brown eyes wide, and emitted a piercing shriek. Over the chatter of thousands of birds, the male, who was swimming on the surface a dozen yards from the island and far below the ledge, heard and identified the call as that of his mate, and instantly surged toward shore. Never before had he climbed the sloping promontory so fast, but it was still many long minutes before he was able to wobble through the masses of birds and up those relatively steep inclines to the nesting plateau. When he arrived, his mate was still slouched on her haunches, but now her eyes were keenly alive, and she chuckled continuously deep in her throat, as if highly satisfied with herself. As the male neared, she straightened and stepped back, exposing to view a single huge egg. Creamy white in color, the shell was liberally splotched with irregular streaks of deep burnt umber and cinnamon, especially toward the larger end. It was almost 6 inches long and more than half of that in diameter, easily dwarfing the eggs of other seabirds nearby. That the pair were intensely proud of their egg was evident both in their actions and in their voices. With raised heads, they screeched and chuckled together like a pair of old cronies upon hearing some incredibly funny story. Pompously, they formed a parade of two and marched round and around the egg, their queer rolling gait all the while accompanied by wings turning slowly like little Dutch windmills in a gentle breeze. This seeming pride and concern for their egg was entirely instinctive, but nonetheless impressive. Their actions might have been considerably more dramatic could they have realized the significance of this single egg, but of course they could not. Nevertheless, this was indisputably the most important egg ever laid by any great auk.